teenagers. So if anybody has teenagers, you feel me. And 3 of them are females and 1 is a boy. So yes, I am a dad of 3 girls that are all teenagers at once. And you can only imagine what my house is like. It is hormonal, to be honest with you, and very hormonal. So dad spends a lot of time just sitting back going, yep, no, okay, we're going to just let that be. Abigail is a mother of 1 female and a beautiful daughter and an amazing mother. And she has an amazing story in the health and wellness industry as well as me. We've both been in this industry going on 20 years. She said, don't say 20, it dates me. And I'm like, 20 is actually not a bad number because you look 20. So there you go. People should want to figure out why you're doing so well in this industry because you look 20. And yet you've been in this industry for 20 years. So I think that's a number one opportunity for people to be on this, especially for ladies that are, as we say, fighting the aging clock. Everybody's wanting to slow down that aging clock. We actually have a lot of information that we want to share with you tonight. But I think it's also important for people to realize Abby and I come from a background of health and wellness. I was a college football player I was a pre-med student. I was going to be a dentist. Went through all that schooling up into right before dental school, and then decided to change and go into the health and wellness industry. Changed my degree, got into a degree in exercise physiology with a minor in biology. And all that to be said, I have used that for the last 20 plus years to really inspire, educate, motivate, just help people and myself maintain a healthy lifestyle around food, fitness, and experiencing just a great life, if that makes sense. On the other side of it, Abigail has done the exact same thing. She has a passion for helping people. And one of the biggest things that we love to share with people is our passion to educate and share. So if anything you take away from tonight's video call, information session this is just information. It's really, you get to decide what you want to do with it. It is hopefully going to inspire you. It is hopefully going to educate you. And it is hopefully going to call you into action, is the way that I would like to put it. Abby and I both love to really inspire people to try to take a step in a positive direction. We are positive people. We are positive about what can be the outcome because it's never too late. Just remember that. It's never too late. You always have, guess what? Today and then tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's not guaranteed, but you have today. So you can start with today. So we're at the end of today, but when you wake up tomorrow, let's just say that we're all waking up tomorrow, you have that day to make new choices, to make new decisions. And I think one of the biggest things that Abby and I have learned over the last 20 years is there's no magic pill. And we're not going to really talk about a magic pill. We're going to talk about a system. We're going to talk about an experience that has transformed both of our lives, not only as parents, as individuals, as fitness professionals, as business entrepreneurs. We have seen and been a part of something that has absolutely transformed us in an emotional state, a physical state, a financial state, and an overall lifestyle state. And it's because we took a chance. It's because we got educated. It's because we wanted to learn more, because we also realized we just didn't know it all. And I don't think either one of us have ever said we've known it all. But we've both been willing to learn, and we've both been willing to have an experience. And I think that in itself is what we want to share with you tonight, because we both have 3 to 3.5 ongoing 4 years with keto and exogenous ketones. So I'm going to let Abigail kind of jump in here, say hi, and also give a little bit of information I think is very important for this call tonight.
Thank you, Shane. Hey guys, it's good to see about 5 of you. If you can turn your cameras on, Shane and I would appreciate that so much, because it is much easier to give our best energy when we can see smiling faces back at us and not black screens. And before, this is the lovely Charlotte. She's 7 years old, and she's got her dinner and Little House on the Prairie on, and now she's gonna go be a good girl. Laugh. Okay, so one thing I told Shane, I'm like, he's gonna give a high view of just exogenous ketones and what's gonna happen in your body. Tonight, we were just talking, we wanna give you a very specific formula. February is approaching. I don't know about you, I just did my first 6-hour reboot in a long time. Took off 5 pounds, and I feel so much better after October, November, and December. And so I'm excited. It created momentum for me. It broke my sugar addictions. It got me back on track. So we're excited, and we want to give you an exact formula for February, because nothing feels better than approaching something with a game plan and just knowing exactly what you're going to do to nail it. And it may be ambiguous to say, hey, you're going to lose 10 pounds, but those are the numbers. Shane and I, and many of you on this call, have been helping people long enough to know that in a month, if you work this system, 10 pounds could be minimal. So I hope tonight that you leave this call just feeling really empowered and really motivated and really excited to approach February, and to also grab friends to do it with you. And the end game is never the weight loss, guys. It's the feeling of happiness. It's the feeling of shutting off this internal shame, because you know you haven't been eating right, and you know you haven't been moving, you know you haven't been good and taking care of yourself. It's being able to just have a good mood and show up for yourself or for your spouse or for your children. And so even if it's, all right, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, there's so much more to that we want for you. So we're going to give you a high level on ketones. We're going to give you an exact plan for February for yourself and to share with others. But before we get started, because we are leading the way in the marketplace, and there's no one close to touching us with this product, with this technology, with the movement that we're on. We want to be really protective. And so before Shane gets talking about ketones, I'm going to read just a disclaimer over this call tonight. So it's kind of hey, I'm going to say a prayer over this meeting tonight. I'm going to read a disclaimer over this. So first one is just that we, Shane Freels and me, Abigail Epps, we're independent promoters with the company Prove It. And nothing that we say about this product is meant to diagnose, treat, cure, fix, or prevent any medical conditions. And then number 2, the statements and opinions expressed here by Shane Freels and Abigail are not necessarily those of Prove It Ventures. These statements have not been approved by or adopted by Prove It. When making any changes to your diet and lifestyle, you should consult your medical professional. And with that, Shane is going to get into just a high level view of ketones, and then I'm going to give you the exact plan for February.
Thank you, Abby. Yeah, guys, I think it's important to start out, and I don't know how many people know the story of how this all came about, but here's the really nuts and bolts of how exogenous ketones came about. When you understand the science and the research behind this, it changes everything. And it changed everything for me once I understood it. So here's a quick little analogy, or not a quick little backstory on how we became kind of the leaders in the conversation and the education space around exogenous ketones. Back in, I would say 2012, 2013, the University of South Florida was contacted by the U.S. Department of Naval Research because our Navy SEALs were having really serious negative effects of using a rebreather apparatus underwater, okay? What does that mean? It was preventing air bubbles from being formed so that our Navy SEALs were staying in stealth mode. What that was creating was our Navy SEALs were going into seizures. Why were they going into seizures? Because they weren't getting enough oxygen into the blood. If the brain doesn't have enough oxygen, guess what? The brain goes into a spasm and has a neurological reaction and goes into a seizure. We can't have that with our elite of the elite armed forces, men that are women that are changing and protecting this, this place. So guess what they did? U.S. Department of Naval Research contacts Dr. Don D'Agostino out of the University of South Florida, says he's a keto expert. They say we need to come out with a supplement that we can give our Navy SEALs so that will help not only improve the seizure rate that they're experiencing so that they don't have seizures, but also help their performance at the same time. They come up with exogenous ketones, BHB salts. They give the Navy SEALs these BHB salts, and lo and behold, it changes everything. Increases their performance by 30%, changes everything around their experience with their seizure rates because ketones increase oxygen within the blood. So that was the big aha moment. The U.S. Department of Naval Research then goes and patents the product, patents the BHB salts. Guess what? We as a company go and buy the patent, and then we take it to market. Now, that's how this all came about. So if you're wondering where this came from, if it's just made in some backyard in a garage, not the case. This is actually real science. It's real research. It was backed by millions and millions of dollars to improve the lifestyle of our elite athletes. We took it to the marketplace, and now we have amped it up 3 different levels. We've gone from using DL salts to R salts to now we have naturally fermented ketone salts that are now, get this, we have 8 patents on the naturally fermented salts, and now we also just got approved for another 11 patents for the marketplace that we actually control everything between 3 grams and 8 grams of BHB salts in a disposable marketplace, okay? So when Abby and I are talking about BHB, I think it's also important for people to realize your body can naturally produce BHB, beta hydroxybutyrate. That is one of the ketones that your body actually produces. So if you were to drink this product and test your blood within a 30 to 45 minute window, it will test bioidentical on a blood meter to exactly what your body would be producing if you had done a ketogenic diet and basically removed all carbohydrates from your lifestyle meal plan. For anywhere, it would take the average person, it takes about 5 to 7 days. For some, I've heard it takes anywhere from 21 to 30 days to get into a natural state of ketosis. That in itself, there's 2 major factors why Abby and I are here today. One, it's backed by science and research and we use for our Navy SEALs and patented by the U.S. government. Number 2, it tests bioidentical in your blood. Those 2 factors alone are why I sit here, why she sits here, why we put our name, our reputation, our education, and everything behind what we are sharing with you today and what we've been sharing for 3.5 ongoing 4 years now, okay? So now that we know that this is as real can get, because guys, how many of you have drank a protein shake, a mineral drink, a vitamin water? I mean, how many of you have done something like that? And then tell me how many of you have tested your blood to find out if the protein shake is actually doing what it's designed to do in your blood. If you have, great, because I know you didn't find anything in your blood because you can't test for a protein shake in your blood. You can only test blood for, guess what? Glucose and ketones. And then if you want to do a full spectrum blood work, you can test and you got to go to a doctor and you got to have blood work done. And then they got to come back and they can tell you your cholesterol, your lipid, protein, and they can tell you a number of different things. But over the counter, you test for 2 fuel sources that run in your body, glucose or ketones. That's it. So why are we so impressed and so motivated to share this with you is because we know that ketones can do so much more for the human anatomy and have been proven by science and research to not be just a weight loss supplement, because it's actually a fuel source that your body desires and creates and wants to be using all the time. Because did you know this? You were born, if you were a breastfed baby, let me say that 10 times real quick, man, it is Sunday night and we got a tongue twister of a night going. Sorry, I'm glad to see you guys smiling because I'm trying to keep it straight here. It's one of those things that if you were born and breastfed, you were in a natural state of ketosis. Did you know children that are breastfed are in ketosis for 6 to 9 months in the first beginning stages of life. We all ran on ketones. We started out on ketones. Guess what changed? You were introduced to processed baby food. You were introduced to processed food. What does all that mean? That means you now have glucose in your blood because of carbohydrates and sugars. Guess what that means? You never came back to being a fat burner because you then continue to cycle unless carbohydrates and sugars are removed. You now became a sugar burner. But yet your body was thriving in a state of ketosis for the 6 to 9 months of life because what's still growing in the human body after birth? I'm going to be quick about it. It's called this right here, the brain. The brain is still growing. How many of you realize there's a hole in a baby's head because the skull hasn't completely formed? Yes, it's for childbirth. The skull needs to be able to change shape for the childbirthing canal if it was done naturally. But also because the human brain is still growing in the first 6 to 9 months of life at a massive rate. So that in itself is called science and research and called facts. So with all that to be said, you now have the ability to drink a fuel source through adding it with water that tests bioidentical, that we know changes everything about the human anatomy because it creates compliance. What does that mean? Compliance is all about things functioning as they should. When ketones are the primary fuel source, your body is at a thriving 100% state. That's a fact. Your body, you'll hear people say, well, you got to have glucose for the brain. Guess what? The human anatomy is smart enough and created by, I believe, this man above, that our body creates its own glucose, and it's called protein genesis, right? Glucolysis. Your body can actually create its own glucose for the human brain. You never have to eat a carbohydrate. Now, you're going to get some carbohydrates through, guess what? Vegetables. That actually gives you some carbohydrates, but you don't have to ever eat a processed carbohydrate or sugar. Now then, with all that to be said, ketones have also been shown to give us the ability to create a healthy relationship with food. And Abigail is going to get into the finer parts of why we are so impressed by this process of a system, because we have what we call a 10-day challenge kit, and we also have what we call a keto reboot, which is something that I had a hand in getting started because I started really introducing the idea of intermittent fasting and doing a 24 to 48 to 60 hour fast. And when I understood that ketones were a thriving part of allowing your body to do fasting and have a healthy relationship with food, it is the most phenomenal experience, not only internally as well as externally, but it also makes sense from the aspect of understanding a healthy lifestyle. And I'm going to give you this one analogy. And I actually just was watching a documentary the other day that I saw something else that made me realize, there's so many things out there that do this. But how many of you guys realize that bears, I'm talking about the animal, bears live in hibernation for 3, 4, 5 months at a time, living on what? They're not eating, and they're having babies. If they're a female, they're living on body fat, right? Because they're living in a state of ketosis. They're thriving in a state of ketosis for 3 to 5 months. Within that process, they're also, if a female is having babies, the babies are nursing. She's losing body fat, but what is she not losing? She's not losing muscle. Because when ketones are present, they're anti-catabolic, and they keep the bear from having to break down muscle to find new fuel. So that bear comes out of hibernation and goes right to what? It has energy, it has mental clarity, it has focus to start hunting and gathering food for its young. And for it also to start putting on body fat again in preparation for the next hibernation cycle. So all that to be said, I hope that's a little bit of a touch on what ketones are really designed for, how they started, why they're here, why we use them. I drink 2 servings of ketones every day. I do intermittent fasting for 16 to 18 to 20 hours, 5 to 6 days a week. And Abby's going to really share with you guys why we are so excited about the 10-day challenge and the keto reboot. So I'm going to let Abby take it from here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Shane. Guys, plan. Get a piece of paper and a pen, okay? Because we want this to be so stupid simple. We just want you to be able to get off this call and be like, here's what I'm doing in February, and I'm going to grab 5 friends, and I'm going to tell them exactly what to do too. We're all going to do this together, and then we're going to go out to eat and have dessert. That's what I would do with my friends. But I think you need a reward at the end, and so let's hit February, okay? The first thing that we have, I've calculated the days, and we're going to have our next 60-hour reboot, like Shane was talking about, on February 16th. So, so we want to make sure you cannot get your kids tonight, but on February 1st, you're going to be able to go buy your 60-hour reboot kit, and that is only $79, right? Yes. Okay, good. No, $89, right? Yes, $89. No, $79. Awesome. All right, so you're going to be able to get that on February 1st. Okay, now here's the deal. If you're inviting your friends, which I challenge you to do, because this is so much more fun to do with people. Actually, the 60-hour reboot is not fun at all, but it helps to do it with more people, okay? So get a group of 3 to 5 to do this with you, because you will continue to do it, because you will become addicted to the results, okay? I hate it, but I need to do it when I want to do it, because I know it works, okay? So grab your friends and get that group ready. Now, if they have never drank ketones before, or they have never done a reboot, this is so important. How many of you on here, just by a show of hands, or you can do it in the chat if you're not showing your camera, drink 2 packs a day of ketones? I know some of you drink 4. That's cool. That's fine. It'll just pee out if you get too much. But you are taking therapeutic dosage amount if you are taking 2 packs a day. And you want to be taking those ketones before you do a 60-hour reboot, because your tissues become more adaptive and more absorbent to them the more you take them. So who would want to go into a 60-hour reboot not absorbing on the first 24 hours those ketones like a rock star? Not me. I'm hungry, okay? And those ketones, they help with your appetite suppression. They help with your mood. They give you a euphoric feeling like, yes, I cannot eat today. You're going to want that the first 24, 48 hours of your reboot, okay? So it's really important, if you're taking people on this journey, that you help get their tissues adapted and absorbing to those ketones. Guys, I just came off of mine, and I haven't done this in a long time. I could not believe the testing. Every day I tested, and I went from 0.5 up to 5.0 on ketones. And that is why the longer I was in it, the better I felt, the more likely I was going to stick with it when it was over. I went 72 hours because I felt so euphoric. So that's going to be the game plan. Now, when we see people first get on ketones, we see them drop weight. And the reason for that is because it's shifting your body from being craving sugar, craving carbs, to feeling satisfied. A lot of what we're feeling in our stomach is coming from our brain. Okay, we have hormones in our brain. I don't know about you women, but our brains get a little crazy during the month, right? And so then when that happens, we eat chocolate and peanut butter, right? So it's important that we're taking care of our brain in order to actually take care of our stomach. So that's one reason why when we see people go on ketones, immediately they're just not reaching for the things that they were reaching for. And when you want to make a change in your body, it's always going to start with your mental state, right? So, yeah, you may have one piece of chocolate. Speaking of, or you can have some non-caffeine ketones, sweetheart. I'm just not gonna do that. So this is awesome. So anyway, we want to help people succeed. And we know that ketones gives you good energy, mental clarity, good mood when we're happy. We're not always reaching for sugar. And so we want people to have success. So what we want to do in the next week is get a 10-day challenge kit. Now, for those of you who already know what flavor of ketones you love, that's fine. Stick with it, okay? But if you are going to grab some friends and help them go through this process of losing the 10 in February, suggest to them that they get that 10-day challenge kit. Because in that 10-day challenge kit, Shane, if you have it, you can just, hold it up. But guys, it's the best deal. You literally get 20 packs, so you can take 2 a day. You get every mainstay flavor, and you also get the Mitoplex, which is incredible with hydrating, getting back your electrolytes. It has some creatine in it. I feel a huge difference when I put Mitoplex in my ketones. I used to sometimes, if I took too many ketones or I was dehydrated, almost kind of get a nauseous feeling. Ever since they came out with Mitoplex, that just doesn't happen anymore. I definitely make sure I take 1 pack a day. And if I have a hard workout and I'm drinking more than 2 packs, I drink 2 a day. Shane, I'm unmuting you just so your camera screen pops up on the recording. Or you got to unmute yourself.
There you go.
Yep, that's the kit. And it's such an easy kit. This is where we start people. When people want to figure out what ketones is all about, just don't mess around. Tell them to get your drink ketones challenge kit. If you are a promoter in this, then you would take your refer code .challenge.com. And it's literally a system that's going to explain everything to somebody. So in the next week, you want to start with this challenge kit if you're brand new to this. You want to order it in the next week. February 6th is when you can definitely get started. That's 10 days before the 16th. Okay, my recommendation is that you just go ahead and start on February 1st with your 10-day challenge kit. You're going to order on February 1st your 60-hour reboot. As you're taking your 10-day challenge, whatever flavor you like, go ahead and get that then ordered in a box so that when you come off your 60-hour reboot, and you are metabolically just burning fat and you are in ketosis and you don't have any cravings, that you can continue that therapeutic dosage of 2 a day because you had already ordered your favorite flavors because you knew what you wanted after you took the 10-day challenge. We don't want to waste anybody's money. We want you to love your drink because you're going to drink it every day. And typically when somebody asks me, what should I order outside of a 10-day challenge? My recommendation is always a box of cream and 2 boxes of ketones. That's where I usually start people after they've done the 10-day challenge. I drink coffee every morning. My favorite part of the day is having my keto cream in my coffee. The challenge link will explain that, and then help people then order 2 boxes of their favorite flavors by staying with them during that 10-day challenge and figuring out what they like. So between the 10 days of challenge, doing the 60-hour reboot on February 16th, and then continuing on till the end of the month with the 2 packs a day. And here's the side notes, paper and pen. If you're helping somebody, you're going to cut down your carbs. You're going to take away the sugar. You're going to drink more water. You're going to get your water up, and you're going to move. And we just want to keep it so simple like that. If you go to the gym 1 time a week in February, I want you to do it twice. Okay? Guys, you can lose the fat you want through what we're telling you to do alone, but we want this to be a whole body change. And we want you to, pick up other areas of your life as well. But last year, guys, I helped a woman lose 75 pounds in 3 months who was on the couch with a torn Achilles tendon by doing the reboots and taking 2 packs a day, no sugar, low carbs. Okay. Your body's going to shift into that metabolically and you're going to get the results. But move, do a little extra cardio. Women, get over to the weight room because that's more healthy. Men need more cardio. Women need more weights. Okay. So maybe watch a video, maybe hire a trainer for the month of February, but set yourself some goals. And I promise you by the end of the month, you are going to be so glad you did this. And then you're also going to go into March and April and come June when everybody's crash dieting because they got to put a swimsuit on. You're going to look back to this and say, I am so glad I started that lifestyle in February. And I'm just ready and I feel great about myself and I have a game plan. I know how to live this life. So I continue to do the reboots until I'm exactly where I want to be. So last year I did it January, February, March, April, and then I didn't do them again until I think November. I did it after Thanksgiving. So use them as a tool, use them as you need them. They're so healthy in so many other ways than just fat loss, but it gets you mentally motivated and creates momentum for you to continue to make that lifestyle change. So once again, first you have 1 week to get that challenge kit because you definitely at the latest want to start it by February 6th. That gives you 10 days before the reboot. But get a jump on February. Start at the 1st, find out the flavors you like, grab the reboot kit on February 1st. We'll do that on the 16th. And then hopefully you'll have ordered your box of cream and 2 boxes ketones and you're going full steam when you come out of that reboot to finish the month. So Shane, if you want to just kind of introduce our next portion with how many people are they going to get to do this and the decision that they want to make going from there.
Well, I think it's, important that you've stated, summer bodies are made in winter, right? Summer bodies aren't made in summer. You don't realize that, this is something that you have to stay on top of. We're not giving you a magic pill. Again, we're creating a lifestyle, we're creating habits, and we're creating a simple, duplicatable, effective, result-driven lifestyle. That's the number one thing to remember. Why do people choose fast food? We all know it's not good for us. We all know it's not good for us. But it's what? Simple, quick, easy, and effective. It's not going to get you to where you want to be. But for all those reasons, you choose it. This is exactly what I call fast food to health. Ketones are fast food to health. They're simple, they're quick, they're effective, they're result driven, and number 5, it's the best fuel source you could ever put in your body without starving yourself, to be honest with you. So I think that is the number one thing to remember. Fast food to health gives you the ability to understand you can get everything you want out of life, not by a magic drink, not by a magic pill, but by incorporating a support system that helps you make healthy choices, right? That's what this is about. So how many of you have been, and I'm going to ask you this, and you can raise your hands for those that have videos on, how many of you have been to a movie, a restaurant, or a clothing store that you absolutely loved and you told somebody about it? How many of you? I mean, almost every single one of you, if I don't see your video, you're probably raising your hand. How many of you have told somebody about a movie you saw, a restaurant you ate at, and a clothing store that you went to? Right? That's called sharing. You're sharing information. You're sharing about a great experience, correct? Am I correct in saying you're sharing about a great experience? Did you get a free movie ticket? Did you get a free meal? Did you get free clothes? Is anybody going to raise their hand on that one? Because I haven't. I've shared about a movie. I've shared about a restaurant that I had a great meal at. I shared about a clothing store that I went to that I got a great deal on a pair of shoes, but they didn't give me a new pair of shoes. They didn't give me a free meal, and they didn't give me a free movie ticket. If you share about drinking ketones with just 2 people and they each buy a box, guess what you get? A free box of ketones. What does that mean? Well, that's $130 in free product. I don't know about you, but if I get to drink ketones, what's the only thing better than drinking ketones? It's called free ketones. Do free ketones taste better? Maybe a little bit, just a little bit better. Because I enjoy my 4 to 5 boxes of free ketones every month. That's what I actually get to be rewarded for, by sharing my story, by sharing my passion, by sharing my experience with people. I love what ketones do for me. I love the experience that it's given me. So I share it with as many people as I can. And because I do that, I get a reward. I get a bonus. I get free ketones, right? So that's available to every single customer. I want you to realize we're not asking you to join a business. We're not asking you to join anything, but we are asking you to be open to the idea. Are you open to the idea of being able to share something and be rewarded for it? If you already like it, you already enjoy it, you already talk about it, how great that it is that you could be rewarded for doing that. You're going to do it anyways, but now you're actually getting rewarded, and it's actually free. How many people live on a budget? How many people look at the idea of going, I got to save some money somewhere? How many of you think when you start cutting out, right, budget items, if you were getting free ketones, how many of you would cut out free ketones? That would be something I would encourage people to take a serious look at, because you look at a $5 packet of ketones, right? We're asking you to drink ketones in place of eating a meal sometimes. If you're doing intermittent fasting, if you're doing a keto reboot, if you're doing anything, we're not asking you to spend more. We're asking you to reallocate the money that you're already spending and put it towards a fuel source that we know is going to absolutely change the internal and external aspects of your human anatomy and experience. That's what we're asking you to do. We're not asking you to spend more. We're asking you to reallocate money that you're already spending to have an experience and even be rewarded and have free product. It comes down to simply sharing it with 2 people. That's all it is. And even if those 2 people buy 2 boxes each, guess what? As a customer, you're still just a customer. As a customer, we're giving you a referral bonus program. I think that is worth going, you know what? I'm into that. I'm not having to pay a monthly dues. I'm not having to sign up for anything. I'm literally just drinking ketones, and I love them, and I want to share them. And I want to be able to have my family and friends and everybody else experience what I'm experiencing. And because I do that, I'm going to get the opportunity to earn free ketones. That's a customer referral program that we have, that we are absolutely passionate about, that we love, and that we share with every one of our customers, because you're given a personal, customized ID code that you get to use and share with anybody that you talk to. So you can actually customize it to say Shane's Ketones. I can customize it and make it Shane Ketones. You can customize it to whatever you want that is available to be your own personal referral code as a customer. Now, for those that say, you know what, Shane, I love sharing. I'm a person that just loves to share. And Shane, I'm interested in learning how I can even, if I can get free ketones, well, man, if I can share this and even make an extra $250 a week, yeah. What would an extra $250 a week do for you? Ask yourself that. How many of you would love to pay off your car faster? How many of you would love to make an extra house payment? How many of you would love to pay off your credit card? How many people just went through Christmas? Credit card city. Guess what? The most depressing day in America and around the world is. It's called January 23rd to 25th. Because you know what happens? Credit card statements come out from December. That has been designated as one of the most stressful, depressing times is because the credit card statements come out from December. Everybody trying to buy Christmas presents. How great would it be that you could pay that off faster? All because you're sharing something that you're already going to be sharing. Why not? Right? Guys, this is community-based marketing. I've had going on 15 years, 16 years experience in this industry. Abby's done the exact same thing. We're not trying to impress you with our numbers, but we've both earned over $1 million in this industry. That's not to impress you. That is to share with you. We have been through this journey and we have been through an experience that is something that we are truly passionate about because it impacts our lives, not just us personally, but it impacts our family, it impacts our friends, and we have been able to impact the world. And I truly say the world because I shared a conversation with somebody who shared it with somebody in Mexico, who shared it with somebody in Canada, who shared it with somebody. I mean, it's like, it's a domino effect. I'm not going to ever see somebody that maybe lives in Canada or that maybe lives in Mexico or that maybe lives in Singapore or that maybe lives in Malaysia or that maybe lives in Australia. But because I cared enough about somebody that is close to me, I shared an experience around ketones with that person who shared it with that person who shared it with that person. This is beyond being a customer. This is what we call our promoter, kind of our promoter account, our promoter business model. If you're an entrepreneur and residual income really resonates with you, you ever heard the terminology mailbox money? Does anybody ever understand what mailbox money means or residual income means? Think about every day waking up and going and checking your mailbox and there's $100 bill in there. That's what this opportunity provides for you. You get to go to the mailbox because of your efforts. This is not a get rich quick thing at all. My efforts and Abby's efforts are a lot. And to put a number on the hours of a day, we treat this as a full-time job. So what does a full-time job look like? Well, a normal full-time job is 8 to 5. That means 8 hours a day. I can tell you, I've put in more than 8 hours a day, and I've put in more than 5 days a week. This is me. This is my opportunity to share with as many people as I can. But I've created a lifestyle, and I've created a income based on my results of my activity. And so Abby and I want to call you into that opportunity in that space, that if you are saying, Shane, I want more out of this. Shane, I want to do more with this. I want to see what I can do. Shane, I want that extra $100 a month in that mailbox. If I get to go to my mailbox and I can pull out an extra $100, which is, guess what, $700 a week? How cool would that be? Add that up over a month. $700 a week is what? $2,800 a month. I'm not saying it's going to happen for you. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm saying the opportunity is there to create a lifestyle that you can create residual income. Why do you hear so many entrepreneurs and what I would call money managers and people that are in the economic world talking about residual income? The residual income that most of us are accompanied to is what? Stocks and bonds and CDs and all those kind of things, right? Put your money into something and let it grow over exponential time of 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, right? Your retirement plan. What if you could do that in a year? What if you could have retirement money in 24 months? What if you could be financially free in 3 years? That's the opportunity that is ahead of you if you understand being self-employed, being entrepreneur-minded, being driven, being focused, and putting yourself into an activity-driven purpose that can result in something you've never experienced. Because Abby and I wake up every morning going, who am I going to talk to today? Who am I going to impact today? Who can I share with today? And who can I inspire today? That is what this business model provides for you, is to be surrounded by people looking for more. And it can be more health, more energy, more stamina, more life, more mommy juice, more daddy juice, more something to just get through life. More of, Shane, I've been looking for something and I want to try this. Shane, I'm looking for an opportunity to make a difference. The average person stays in a job, guess what? 7 years. The average person changes jobs every 7 years. Why? Because they're either bored, they're tired, they've hit the ceiling, they can't grow anymore in their current state, or they just are ready for a change. Change can be uncomfortable. Change is hard. Change means growth. Change means work. Change means opportunity, though. And I think that's the number one thing. If you are that kind of person, then we're saying lock arms. Lock arms with two people that have done the change and continue to go through change. Because change for us, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but we're ready for it. Are you ready for that kind of change? Are you ready to make that kind of difference? Are you ready to be that impact person? Are you ready to do something for you that's going to put you at a better place, given the time and the effort to do it? This is not anything other than we're asking and inviting and encouraging and motivating and inspiring you to get more connected with what? This, you. Where are you going? What are you wanting to do? And where do you want to be? 30 days from now, 60 days from now, a year from now, 3 years from now. So I'm going to kick it back to Abby and let her kind of continue on with this conversation because we're both super excited and inspired to have you all on tonight.
Awesome. That's so good. I like setting the short term, the midterm, the long term, right? It's always about consistency. And one thing that we know is true for entrepreneurs is that you cannot be an entrepreneur if you are not going to be ready to face conflict and stick in it. All right. That's the first thing that you got to get ready for. And, I love some of the questions here because this was our goal for this call tonight, is to be really specific so that everybody realizes there is no secret sauce to number one, February and losing 10 pounds, and number two, creating a business for yourself here. Okay. Someone said, Jay Carlos said, what would 3 or 4 nuggets besides losing fat or weight that you guys find as good conversation starters when you're trying to share this? Okay. So the point of this, guys, is that your business starts now as you ask people to join you in this challenge and in the reboot. Okay. If you're brand new to this conversation, this forming your group of friends to do it with you is the launch of either your free product or your business. If you're already a promoter, however many people that you get to join you in February is going to be like the direct result of how much you have to work with. And when I say that, I mean, here's specific DMOs, okay? if you are leading people through it, number one, you cannot lead people where you won't go. My, like in my own business, anytime it starts declining, you know what the first thing is I realize? I'm not drinking 2 packs a day, and I need to get back into doing a reboot, because it puts my mind back to where the heart of the business is, which is you make yourself better first, and then you have something to share. So if you're going out there and you're just trying to get a bunch of people to, do a 60-hour reboot, but you're not willing to go through that with them, I promise you it's going to be a little bit more inauthentic, and you're going to have to be a little bit better at sales. And nobody wants to do sales. Nobody wants to sell people, right? You've got to take yourself through it. Now, Momo, no 60-hour reboots for you, but you can get Mick on the phone and have him talk about the 60-hour reboot. All right, Momo's having a baby. So the first thing is, guys, anybody you ask to do this with you, you want to get their buy-in that they're going to take before and after pictures. It's the heart of being able to work a business. I'm blown away at the disconnect. People want to see what's real, okay? They want to be inspired. They want to have hope. Oh my gosh, that person did this in February. I can definitely join them next month. If that's what that did, I'm going to do it. So first you have to commit to yourself. Are you willing to go through this in February? And if you are, now you're going to get passionate about bringing people with you. And, key conversation starters is being really authentic in, number one, there's 2 types of ways to do this: social media and what we call walk and talk. All right. It's having your reticular activating system on during the day. How many times am I going to share and invite people to join me in what I'm doing? If you're walking around, if you're showing up to basketball games, a part of the walk and talk platform, I recommend people ordering a ketone shaker cup and having that with them everywhere they go. We have a swag store. Grab a ketone t-shirt, because you're really thinking about the conversations that you're going to start outside of your phone and social media. It's your environment. It's where you live. And so what are types of things, like when I go to Starbucks, I am ripping open my packet and asking the lady to pour it in my cup, the keto cream. Never drink ketones alone. Like, wait to rip it open until you get to the gym. Okay. You're going to start conversations out and about because you're excited and it's something that you're doing. Now on social media, being able to show up vulnerably and authentically. I put a lot of pressure on myself with my body. And one of the biggest challenges I have, but it's not a challenge because I'm just going to do it, is showing my own transformations. I don't like showing my winter coat. I don't like showing my tummy. I don't like that. But you know what? Every time I do it, someone else is inspired and they want to hop in. And so on this last 60-hour reboot, I showed up in my storylines. I said, I'm tired. I'm hungry. This is the hard part of the day. I just took my pack of ketones. I'm feeling better right now. I just checked my blood. This is probably why I'm feeling better, is because I've just gone up this many millimoles. Like, taking people, like, just go back to MTV and this is a story of your life. And, if you want to do this, this is the platform. Show up on your stories and your Facebook and your social media with entertainment, things that make you laugh. Tell why you're doing it. You said, what other key nuggets besides losing fat? Well, what do you want? Because if you're trying to say other key nuggets that don't really apply to you, it's like they say, the more laser focused you're in about why you're doing it and what, I want more energy. I drink my ketones at 2:30 because I pick my daughter up at 3:40 and I want to give her the best part of me that day. And anyone else who's a mom with kids or dad who knows the brick wall that you hit at 4 o'clock, right as your kids are coming home rowdy and they've been self-regulating all day, understands, yeah, I would love to have some energy there, but not a monster that's going to give me anxiety and keep me up till 10 that night, and then I don't sleep, and then the next day I'm tired. Like, moms who are going that direction at 4 o'clock are like, preach, yes, me too. All right. I had a lady one time who came off of her 8-hour work, and she posted on her Facebook, holy cow, I just drank a pack of ketones, and after an 8-hour shift, I ended up cleaning my baseboards. Do you know how many full-time workers flocked because of that one comment? Because that's their pain point. If anyone has ever held a 9-to-5 job, you know you've got about 8 hours of domestic work when you get home, and those baseboards are like the last thing you would ever get cleaned. So people could identify with that. Okay, so what's real to you is what you're going to catch in others. So if it's, not fat loss to you, that's fine. Don't post about fat loss. But the more people that you grab with you to do this journey, the more likely you're going to have an amazing fat loss story for one of them. And when you share their story, you're going to hit someone else, but that's authentic because it was their story. So the more true you are when you show up and you say what you want, and you go into it and you say what's happening, and you come out of it and you say what has been done, you're literally telling a story. You're going to tell it when you're walking around, and you're going to tell it when you're on your social media, and that's attraction marketing, and that's what's going to bring people into you. So some major DMOs, daily methods of operation for working this business. I want you to wake up, and your goal is number one, you. How many cups of water are you going to take? What are you going to put in your mouth that day? Are you going to get to the gym? What's your game plan? Okay. After you take care of your health, then I want you to think about socially and from a business point of view, what are some goals that you could do each day? I am going to post on my social media once a day. 3 days this week, it's going to be about what I'm going through in February. 3 days on my social media out of 7 days, I'm going to talk about the challenge that I'm taking. I'm going to talk about how I'm nervous in this upcoming February 16th reboot. I'm going to share that 3 days out of 7 days. And on the other 7 days, remember your goal was to show up every day. So what do you like to do? I like clothes. I'm going to share this outfit one morning. I don't know, but be you. Form your page with things about you so that people are watching, and they like that part of you, but you're not all spammy. Okay. So that's kind of, Shane and I, if you want to go to $1 million business, you have to have game plans. You have to have it. I'm not going to show up on my social media if I didn't write it down that day. I'm going to show up on my social media. Like, it's part of your job. Like, are you going to clock in for this? If you've ever, worked in a job, how many people do you need to contact that day? When I did State Farm Insurance, the first hour of my day was going through the yellow pages and calling people. Then I would bake cookies. And then I would go take them to people's homes from the reports of people who had just moved in the neighborhood. Yes, I would walk up to people's homes that just moved in with hot cookies and introduce myself and give them my business card. And then I would go set up booths in podunk malls and try and get college kids for renter's insurance. Guys, it was pretty miserable, and I would rather do this. But what I'm saying is you've got to create yourself some structure to your day if you're going to work for yourself. So what do your time slots look like? Okay, how many people are you going to invite? Are you going to check in with everybody doing the 10-day challenge? So on Monday, I'm going to check in with 3 people. On Tuesday, I'm going to check in with the other 3. On Thursday, I'm going to send everybody an encouragement note. On Friday, I'm going to follow up and see if everybody knows their favorite flavor so I can make sure I get their orders in after the reboot and they're ready to go. Like, what is your plan to create prospecting, to create the pipeline, to make sure everybody's getting in their orders, to make sure they have that community and that support and that feel from you, to make sure they're excited and they're noticing the changes going on. So I just want you to think about, as you are going through it, what do you want for yourself? And that's what you're going to guide people through and help them with. So don't forget, the most important thing is to guide people in the photo process. Encourage your friends and your customers to share their story, because then you can go on their Facebook and you can look at who's commenting, who's liking, who's asking questions. You can go message them, and then you can come back to your friend and tell them you got 2 people ready to order. Would they like their product for free? You're going to take people through this journey. And then the other one, yep, you want to be fun, you want to be educating, and you want to provide value, and you want to have a game plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And with that, in February, it's real simple. If you get people to do the 10-day challenge and you get them to do the 60-hour reboot, you're going to get 10 pounds off of them, probably at a minimum. And then if this is brand new for you, you're going to pay the $37.50 and become a promoter, because you have 6 people who have just lost 10 pounds and they need to put in their orders for their 2 boxes to get ready to go into the next month. All right. There's a go button in your back office, and it's basically called the Go Challenge. And in the first 14 days, if you sell X amount of boxes, you get $250. In the next 30 days, if you sell X amount of boxes of ketones, you get an extra $500. That's $750. And that's not including the commissions that you receive when they're actually ordering the product. So chalk it up to $1,000. So how many people can you help lose 10 pounds in February? And then how many people can you get fired up to help others do that in March? And in the next 2 months, when you look back, you could definitely have earned $1,000 easy. And now you're helping others do the same as each month goes on with just this simple system. And it is 9:06. We went 6 minutes past the hour. It's pretty good for both of us being big talkers. And I'm going to stop this recording unless, Shane, you have anything else you want to say on the recording, then we can open it up for questions.
No, I'm glad everybody made it on. Hope this was helpful.